Greetings and salutations, Tushner here. If you arrived at this video from scanning the QR code on Book 7 of Aeternitas, The Shores of Destiny, please accept my warmest welcome. If you're about to begin, or want to dip your toes before you try for real, that's awesome too. If you've already finished the book and would like to see more, I'm enthused to have you. I'm the author of the Epic of Aeternitas, and I can't wait to tell you all about what I've been working on. This first episode of the introductory playlist on YouTube will equip you with a quick overview of the information you need to understand the universe of Aeternitas and the scope of this particular epic series, whose stories are but just one out of many in their universe. This playlist will be ideal if you wish to appraise the potential of the Epic of Aeternitas at a single glance, or would just like to see what kind of story and direction you can expect from the series before you purchase the book. For this episode, I will answer two fundamental questions about the setting of the series. 1. Where does the story take place, which deals with the world? And 2. What time period does the story take place, which deals with the timeline? While some very basic details are present in the book description pages, this video will expand upon that and explain how Book 7, the first book to be published in the Epic of Aeternitas, fits into this universe, including what stories you can expect to come in the future. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Number 1. Where does the story take place? The Epic of Aeternitas is set in a neighboring universe where humankind has the power to control atoms in the form of the four elements, put simply, fire, water, earth, and air. In the universe of Aeternitas, every person at age 11, more or less, receives something called Macht, a power to wield a particular aspect of nature, an element. Each child is granted this divine gift by one of the 5 greatest deities in their world, who are called the Founders, the first human beings who discovered the art of controlling atoms in the form of the 4 elements. They, in their visionary quests, unseated the tyrannical reign of nature over humanity and ascended to godhood for their epic accomplishments, passing on to their descendants the Mahamastra, that is, the 4 elemental arts. The many stories in the universe of Aeternitas unfold upon a planetary world far larger than that of Earth, featuring unique geographies and climates by extension. It is filled to the brim with its own mythologies, cultures, and civilizations built by the hands of humankind that can control the 4 elements, which has understandably led to a vastly different path of civilizational development, accelerating some aspects and stagnating others. It is replete with myths, legends, and histories of colossal endeavors, of epic quests and struggles, of wars and strivings for peace, sagas of brotherhood and camaraderie, rise of heroic figures and conquerors of gods, and even tales of romance and love among its many denizens, all ripe and waiting to be told. So then, moving on to number 2, in what time period does the story take place? The universe of Aeternitas is set upon the backdrop of some 11,000 years of history, from their ancient past to the modern present. Their world is, and has been, inhabited by various empires, kingdoms, polities, and peoples, rising in might one moment and vanishing to dust in the next. Continents and land masses themselves have been shaped, raised, or sunk by the collective powers of its many denizens in their various struggles and endeavors, both between themselves and against various creatures and beings that range from anemic to the monstrously potent. Evidence and records of these 11,000 years are preserved upon the very continents themselves. Great canyons that crisscross the supercontinents of their bygone era are thought to have been carved out by a human who rose to the status of a deity. Another is said to have ended the ages of ice by becoming the sun, another told to have become a ring around the earth, and another deity the very stars in the night sky. Now, upon this backdrop of epic struggles and endeavors, impermanence and change are the most resolute constants of the universe of Aeternitas, and by extension, the most venerated and celebrated icons are those of heroes and legends who, by virtue of their deeds and the courage they inspire thousands of years after their listeners, are able to echo through time for all eternity in brave resistance against the erosion called time. In fact, the few that survive, or perhaps the only thing that survives of the cultures and civilizations of bygone epochs in the universe of Aeternitas, are the mythical stories of those heroic figures, many in name, but truly great but a few. The Epic of Aeternitas focuses on a number of these great figures unfolding in a small section of those 11,000 years of historical timeline, with the first events in the epic taking place roughly 3,000 years in the past from their modern present. The present saga, beginning with Book 7, follows the story of a one-eyed boy named Elwyn Eramir, who seeks to enter the best academy in the known world, aptly founded as Aeternitas, after the supreme deity of the prevailing worldview where he lives. But little does Elwyn know that his endeavor to enter Aeternitas will set in motion a saga in his own right, his place in an epic that the peoples of his world shall sing for thousands of years to come. The Epic of Aeternitas, put precisely, is chronicled by a traveler to that universe who had already witnessed its stories unfold. The epic is planned to be told in a series of 11 books. There are two main parts to the epic, a present saga, which spans from Book 7 to Book 11 and beyond, and a prequel saga, which spans from Book 1 to Book 6. The Epic of Aeternitas officially begins with Book 7 as the first book to be published. Because Book 7 serves as the foundation for everything else that follows, audiences don't need context from other books to make sense of the story or its characters. They can dive right in without worrying about having to wait for the prequel saga. One very important thing to note is that this epic is not a regurgitation of boring events and dull dates and facts as one would expect in history class, or a detached narrative of who did what and what their lineage was or what sort of weapons they carried. I'm looking at you, Homer of the Iliad. Each saga in the Epic of Aeternitas revolves around a central protagonist, who both began from humble places and is centered upon their very personal journey of growth and persistence from when they were little, their struggles and triumphs, their quests to find themselves and their place amidst a world looming with great monstrous threats, many human and many supernatural. Each embarks on a colossal endeavor, learning and developing their power over the four elemental arts, the four Mahamastra, in their quests, their deeds and achievements and relationships propagating through time like an atlas of clouds to resound the hearts of those who may live thousands of years after them. The first saga you will see is that of Elwyn Aramir, beginning with Book 7. I'm enthused to have you on board. Let's set sail to the next episode, which will explain the background behind Book 7 and give you a small hint at what's to come in future books. If you haven't done so already, click on the subscribe button and hit that notification bell for timely updates. With that, thank you for watching, and see you soon. Toshinori out.